Welcome back to another tutorial with your post-apocalyptic pal, Nostalgic Nuke, and today we're going to be going over a key element in Space Engineers, and I think it's constantly overlooked. It's the infamous merge block. So sit back and enjoy. Hey, what's going on, everyone? And I hope everybody's finding their day to be quite as amazing as mine. Like I said, today we're going to be making a quick tutorial on how to just kind of merge blocks together in Space Engineers. I know there's dozens of videos out there that are like this, and everybody has their own style of doing it, but today I figure I'd just kind of refresh it, and we'll give it a go. So a key element in Space Engineers that, like I said earlier, I think is highly overlooked is the merge block. The merge block can be used for many different projects, from automated hangar doors to merging ships together to building an assembly that can kind of spider itself forward, and you can print a new merge block and add a piston assembly to it and some welders, and every time a piston moves forward with some welders and a printer, you can assemble a new merge block and just kind of build a staggered assembly. In today's video, we're going to be kind of going over merging two ships together, and you will note that there are some aspects of this setup that are not along the usual lines of a normal Space Engineers games. There are mods in it. Some of the turrets are modded, and those do have an effect in overall gameplay. But we're going to be going through a simple design, and basically we're taking our starter ship that was given to us, and we're going to be merging it to a pirate station that I had taken over, and you'll just kind of see how you can fit the two ships together and then obviously rework them so that you have a larger ship, and this way you're not having to grind down one ship and then reassemble and redesign. Maybe you just like the design of the two ships and you want to stick them together and then just open up a path or kind of a hallway between each cockpit. And then you have a larger ship with multiple stations that you can operate the ship from. So with that being said, you do kind of have to clear up your working area, right? You don't want your reverse thrusters still mounted to the back of the ship. Those reverse thrusters will obviously torch off whatever's behind them, whether they're ion or hydrogen thrusters. So you kind of need to look around, get a good look at your design from all sides, left, right, top, down, the bottom. As you saw earlier, I had a landing gear that was kind of hindering the movement of the ship. You'll see it's kind of where I'm hanging up right now. So yeah, once we figure out the issue with the landing gear, you'll see that it moves pretty quick from here. I would speed up this video, but I want to keep this kind of original as possible, just so you can see some of the errors that you might make when trying to do this, and obviously some of the obvious errors that I'm making, like I said, leaving a landing gear on there that's now locked to the top of the ship. Also, one of the major and most efficient mods that we're using in this is the Bob's Builders. They do allow you to grind down and reassemble your ship so that you're not having to go back and forth and grab the materials and do it yourself. It is a fun mod. It definitely expedites the building and assembly process. I will go over that before the end of the tutorial, and I will drop a link below as to where you can find that mod in Steam if you want to add it to one of your servers. Later on, I'll probably do a tutorial on how to add mods to your server, and that way you guys will know how to implement it. So you'll see, obviously, that one turret is purple, modded turret. And you'll notice that I'm going to go through right now, and this is part of the Bob's mod, is I have set the grinding color to bright red. When using this mod, and this is a side tangent, but when using this mod and you're using the grinding mode, you want to make sure that you're using a very noticeable color. That way you know exactly what's going to be ground down and what's not. It definitely helps for design purposes. So it was about this time I had noticed that my bobs were not assembling my merge blocks. So I went and grabbed the materials to do it myself. Fairly simple stuff, not complicated. I think it's a couple of motors, steel plates, and a few other items. If you're new to Space Engineers, every block that you build will show you what materials are needed. But you will see as soon as the merge blocks are assembled, they pretty much just fall together themselves. They do have their own interlocking ability, and when in zero-G, or in space, this is a lot easier than when on a planet. When you're on a planet, sometimes you have to fight them, especially if you're adding rotor assemblies together, or if you're adding piston assemblies together. You'll notice that the merge blocks will kind of not want to line up, and so you'll have to rotate them or adjust them in a specific way. So here you go, both blocks are finished, and even before I finished welding it together, the merge blocks start to pull together, merging the two ships. As this completes, at this point in time, I'll be able to essentially attach this ship completely to the other ship. So any conveyor ports that I want to utilize, attaching the station to the secondary ship that I have just mounted, I'll be able to run any conveyor ports and attach them together. And now I can feed materials, ammunition from one storage crate to the next, allowing both ships to universally interact together. Essentially, now it's just become one big ship. So as you guys can see, the merge block is definitely an underutilized tool. It can be used in many different assets. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Be sure to check us out on Twitch. Go ahead and get at us on Twitter. And I will see you guys in the next edition of Nostalgic Nuke's Playground. Stay frosty out there in the wasteland.